In this video, we are going to talk about the execution flow of a program. Now, we already had experience with the execution flow while explaining the let keyword and in particular explaining how a variable can change its value. In particular, we first declare a variable and then only below that declaration we are able to change the value. So we already know that a program is executed starting from the top going to the bottom, but there might be some cases where I don't want some specific code to be executed, or I want it to be executed only if some condition is true. To demonstrate how this is possible, we will introduce a new construct called the if else construct, and it's called so, of course, because you can create one by the keywords if and else. An if else construct is defined so that I can put here some true or false value. Now, this is an expression and actually gets evaluated to true. And if you don't know why, you can go check the truth table of the OR operator. But this is not really what we want to explain here. The most important part is that here you can put some Boolean value or something that gets evaluated to a Boolean in order to choose between this code or this code. So I can take this code and paste it here, and take this code here, cut it and paste it here. Now, how do I choose if running this code or this code? Really depends on what is inside here. And I can only put a simple Boolean value, such as true. And you notice how Visual Studio Code is shadowing this code because he already knows that this is true. Therefore, this code is executed and this is not. And we can also ask this to Node and run node if.js. It is the name of the file, and only two get printed, which is indeed the value of my var here, but no 42 is printed because this code is not executed. When this is true, this part of the code is actually as if this is not present. So it's actually also this is not present. We can see that running this code now gives us the same result as before. Now, if instead I put a false here, now this part of the code gets shadowed because false tells me to not choose this one and to go on. Since now we encounter an else, we now choose to execute this part of the code. And if I run now the code, oh, sorry, I have to save it. Now, if I run the code, I get printed out 42. Now, of course, using if else only with simple booleans uh, is not that fun, and we can do something that evaluates to a boolean, and I can do that also based on my var. So I can say, for example, if my var has a value of 0, and in this case this evaluates to true, then execute this code. If it is not 0, then execute this code. And note how now Visual Studio does not shadows any code because this can be actually true or false depending on the value of my var. So since we know that my var is 0, we also know that it is true, but let's just ignore it. We can also use some other operators such as if my var is less or equal than 0 or than 10, then execute first code because will be evaluated to true, and if it is false, then execute this other code. Now you can imagine how powerful this is if we, for example, this was the age of a user and I set the age to be 18, and we can now do some action based on the age of the user. And I want to say that if the age is less or equal than 10, then I want my computer to console log the user is less than 10. Now, if this gets evaluated to false, we now know for sure that whatever is inside here is greater than 10. So I can copy this and print out that the user is greater than 10. Now with if else construct, I can also chain multiple construct and I can say if is less or equal than 10, then do this stuff. Else, if age is less or equal than 18, then I can tell the computer to print out that the user is less than 18, and I can then chain one more block. If we execute this code, we are sure that the age is greater than 10 because this is evaluated to false, and we also know that the age is greater than 18. Since this evaluated to false too, we now know that the age is greater than 18. Also, it is important this else because this code here gets only executed only if everything above is false. Note if without this else, if we put here some other code and I want this code only to print whatever the age is, if we didn't wrote else, then this code would have executed every time, no matter if this is true or false and or this is true or false. So launching this program will print only one of these strings and then will print the age of the user, in this case the variable. So launching node followed by if.js, which is the name of the file, prints out that user is less than 18, actually less or equal than 18, and then prints out the value of the age, no matter if any of these has been executed or not. We can also change the age to 5 and see that it prints out that the user is less than 10 and then prints out the age, or we can say that the user is of age 50 and run the code and see that indeed the user is greater than 18 since 50 is greater than 18, and this code is executed. If you learned something from this video, please click the like button and also remember to subscribe to the channel so that you can keep learn with me. Thank you for your time and we'll see you in another video. Bye bye.